Hi, I'm Jeff Michael VR. I am a virtual reality VTuber, YouTuber, and just individual who tries to help people see the ups and downs of VRchat gaming, as well as having fun. Just being a kooky individual. You just gotta have fun, especially in this day and age. Happy Disability Visibility Month. I am disabled myself. I have autism. I have ADD, and also I have trouble walking IRL. I want to get something across my chest. So whenever I make these videos, I do try to be sincere as possible. I also try to help individuals see red flags, while gaming. It's just important to me that people see these flags, because you don't see people on the other end of these screens. You don't know what their facial expressions are. You don't know what they're actually thinking, feeling, and stuff like that, okay? So, I, I have friends in the past and now currently who have overstepped my boundaries a few times, okay? And I want to get something across. I used to be a pushover, a very big pushover. I did not listen to my instincts. I did not listen to my self-worth. I was always putting myself down, bullying myself. And don't do that, guys. Don't be like me. That is what is known as a people pleaser, okay? So, if you don't want to people please, if you want to get serious, if you want to get blunt, if you want to be honest with how you are actually feeling, well, let me give you these steps, okay? If someone is currently dismissing how you're feeling, right? Let's make up an individual scenario, right? Let's say you tell somebody, I'm not feeling well today. I don't want to game. And this individual says, let's say, oh, well, you promised to game with me yesterday. And you tell them, I'm not feeling good. And they're still dismissive of your feelings. Then what you do is you say, look, I get that I promised you, but sometimes things happen. We need to, if you do not keep my feelings into consideration, I'm going to have to step back from you for a while. And there you go. That is how you do a proper boundary. Boundaries. Okay? Boundaries are very important. Whether it comes to relationships, if somebody is touching you and you do not like being touched, you tell that individual. You say, hey, I don't feel comfortable with this. I really just, please don't touch me. Or if you don't like hugs, tell that individual, tell them, hey, maybe a high five would be better. I'm not very comfortable with hugs. I would rather just get a high five or a fist bump. That is proper demonstration of boundaries. Another thing. Here, let's come up with another scenario. Let's say someone is being dismissive of somebody's pronouns, right? This is what you do. Me, for instance, I go by he, him, they, them, alright? Let's say there's somebody saying they're calling me a girl because I sound like a feminine person. That's because I'm pre-transition. But, okay, let's just say somebody is being very dismissive of my pronouns, alright? This is what I'm going to say. Look, you may not agree with who I am, but you're not me. You don't get to dictate who I am as an individual. You do not get to dictate my life. My personality, my individuality is mine and mine alone. I am unique. I am not like you. I am not meant to be like you. No two people are the same. And I appreciate if you respect my pronouns. If you cannot respect my pronouns, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have to dismiss you from my current friends. And there you go. That is proper demonstration of how you handle somebody disrespecting your boundaries. So, as I said, I don't always like to be serious. I like to have fun. I like to game, draw, just be silly. That's what you gotta do in life, especially during this kind of tough time at the moment. A lot of countries are going through turmoil, especially in the United States. I am not putting the United States over any other country because we're not better than anybody else. We are literally the worst country right now, besides North Korea. I'm just pointing it out there. Just pointing it out there. And for your safety, if you are traveling to the United States, please do not, please, from the bottom and depths of my soul, do not come here until it is safe. Okay? But, like I said, I don't like getting into politics while gaming, but right now, it's very important that we all stay safe, okay? So, safety is very important. Watch your surroundings all times. Doesn't matter if you're gaming, doesn't matter if you're outside. Watch your surroundings. Very important. Very important to, tell people if they're upsetting you, you gotta be honest with them. Straightforward, blunt, and honest. So, now that we've gotten boundaries down, another thing that we need to look out for is narcissistic characteristics. If someone is currently, making you look like a bad guy, right? Let's say you and a friend got into a fight, right? And you're saying things, and you don't mean to, and you say sorry, right? That is not a narcissist. That is somebody who is being honest, and they realize that they've done wrong. A narcissist, on the other hand, there are 3 or 4 different types of narcissists, as far as I know. I can't remember if there's more than that. Don't get me wrong, I'm not perfect, so I don't know. I'm not a therapist, and I do not have a PhD in psychology and all this other stuff. So, but from my experience, how I've dealt with narcissists is where I'm an empath. I'm always trying to help people. I have noticed this. They will be very dismissive of how you really feel. They will be putting themselves first, or they won't even care. They won't say sorry, even if you basically try to force it out of them. They will not say sorry. Okay, so that is a narcissist. Narcissists are people who do not seem to have the capability of feeling empathy. Now, some do. I'm not saying all narcissists are like that, okay? There are very bad narcissists, and then there are those ones that are caring people, but they still have some narcissistic characteristics and stuff like that, okay? So, yeah, you just gotta distance yourself from those people. I've had friends in the past that have been like that, they don't understand. They don't seem to understand, okay? But always watch out for these individuals, okay? Because they will drain you of your energy to the point where you're dry. You're in the Sahara Desert, okay? So, please, from the bottom of my heart, watch out for these individuals. Also, I've been having problems with, whenever I go into public worlds, I'm very quiet in public worlds. I very seldom talk in public worlds, alright? But whenever I go into public worlds, there are these inappropriate kids that will try to say inappropriate things. There is something going on with vrchat right now. I don't know if I'm going to have to talk to the vrchat developers directly or just deal with it on my own and block these people, okay? I've had to block several kids doing inappropriate things or trying to do inappropriate things to me, okay? And I've literally told them, I'm an adult, do not touch me like that, do not. Where are these kids' parents? Like, 6-year-olds do not need a Quest 3. This game is 13 and up. Not 8-year-olds, not 6-year-olds, not 5-year-olds. This is 13 and up. I don't know why it's 13 and up. It should be 17 and up, honestly, because there's so many inappropriate avatars that kids can get a hold of. Okay, so, yeah, we need to do something about this, okay? There's just something going on here, and, obviously somebody's doing something to these kids, so we gotta, I don't know what we gotta do, but we gotta do something, alright? So, yeah, we're just, dealing with these issues, alright? If you are an adult like me who has special needs and somebody is doing something to you inappropriately, that is still grooming, okay? Grooming can happen at any age. It does not mean you have to be a child. Mentally, if you're a child, you are still pretty much a child, okay? You may be an adult physically, but you are still a child mentally. So, we have got to watch out for these things, okay? And if you see somebody doing this to your friends, don't laugh at it. It's inappropriate and it's disgusting, alright?